Welcome back to the Thing About the Salem Witch Trials. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
This is Sarah Japp. This week, we look at the family of Roger Toothaker, a folk healer accused of witchcraft in 1692.
Roger Toothaker was born in about 1634, the son of Roger and Margaret Toothaker. His father died when he was young, and Roger only received a small parcel of land from his stepfather.
In 1665, he married Mary Allen, sister of Martha Allen Carrier. Over the next 18 years, the couple had 8 children. 5 survived childhood, including Allen, Martha, and Margaret, who will be all caught up in the Salem Witch Trials.
In 1683, Roger was admonished for not leading his family well, and by the next year he had left his family behind in Billerica and moved himself to Salem. The selectmen of Billerica had to provide assistance to the Toothakers left behind there, and they arranged apprenticeships for Roger's children. One child was put out to Joseph Walker and another to Edward Farmer.
Sometimes known as Dr. Toothaker, by 1692, Roger was working as a folk healer and witchfinder. He was the only male healer or physician to be accused of witchcraft in New England in the 17th century.
There's no one else that claims to be able to find witches or kill them in the way that we'll talk about here. Authorities arrested Roger Toothaker for witchcraft on May 18, 1692, when he was accused of afflicting Elizabeth Hubbard, Ann Putnam Jr., Mary Walcott, and other unspecified people in Salem Village. The magistrates transferred him to Boston jail the following morning, and he remained there until his death.
The only testimony given against Roger Toothaker was the deposition of Thomas Gage and Elias Pickworth, given May 23rd. Thomas said that in the spring he spoke with Dr. Toothaker about the strange sickness of John Marston's child and Philip White's child, who were having unwanted fits. Philip White was the half-brother of Governor Sir William Phips.
Thomas Gage tried to persuade Roger Toothaker to go and examine the sick children. Roger said he'd already done that and concluded that they were under an evil hand, a tragically common diagnosis in 1692 Massachusetts. So Governor Phips' own niece or nephew, the child of Philip White, was allegedly under an evil hand. This could have colored the governor's thinking about the witch trials.
Roger Toothaker reportedly told Thomas Gage that his daughter Martha had once killed a witch by creating a witch bottle. She collected the urine of an afflicted person in an earthen pot and stopped said pot very closed and put said pot in an oven and stopped up said oven, and the next morning the witch was dead. Elias Pickworth corroborated everything Thomas Gage said.
On May 28, 1692, Joseph Holton and John Walcott filed a witchcraft complaint against 11 people. All were accused of afflicting Mary Walcott, Abigail Williams, Mercy Lewis, Ann Putnam Jr., and others from Salem Village. The list of accused included Roger's wife Mary and their 9-year-old daughter Margaret.
On June 4th, unnamed accusers made a statement about incidents revealed by Mary Warren, who said that on May 24th, 1692, Mary Warren was grievously afflicted and fell into a trance. While in that condition, she said, "Who are you? What is your name? What? Toothaker? Dr. Toothaker's wife? I won't. I will not touch the book."
After she came around, Mary Warren said that the specter of Mary Toothaker had brought her the devil's book, a coffin, a winding sheet, and grave clothes. The specter said that Mary must sign the book, or else she would kill her and she would be wrapped in the winding sheet.
On June 16th, Roger Toothaker died in the Boston jail. A coroner's inquest was performed by 15 jurymen from Suffolk County. Without providing any details, they concluded that, quote, he came to his end by a natural death.
On June 28th, justices issued a summons for Allen Toothaker, the son of Roger and Mary Toothaker, to testify against his aunt, Martha Carrier.
On July 21st, during the examinations of Andover teen Mary Lacey Jr., her mother, Mary Lacey Sr., and her grandmother, Ann Foster, Mary Toothaker and an unnamed daughter were discussed, as was Mary Toothaker's sister, Martha Carrier.
Ann Foster said that Mary Toothaker and her daughter were at the Salem Village witch meeting that was held in Minister Samuel Parris's yard.
If the situation weren't dire enough for the Toothakers, the next day, on July 22nd, magistrates issued a warrant for the arrest of Martha Toothaker Emerson, daughter of Roger and Mary. Martha Emerson was accused of harming Mary Warren, Mary Lacey, and others with witchcraft. The constable was instructed to search Martha's house for images and poppets.
Magistrates questioned Martha on July 23rd. She told them she had never seen Mary Warren or Mary Lacey before, but Richard Carrier testified that he saw Martha Emerson hurt those women both yesterday, but he had not seen Martha at a witch meeting.
However, Mary Lacey Sr. had seen both Martha Emerson and her mother at the supposed witch meeting.
Martha looked at Mary Warren and Mary Lacey Sr., and they both fell down. Martha was compelled to take Mary Lacey by the wrist, which appeared to make her well again. 2 other afflicted persons also fell down at her glance, but she denied that she knew anything of witchcraft.
Martha Emerson is a married woman in her 20s, but Mary Warren claims that Martha Emerson had told her that Martha had ridden a man with an enchanted bridle.
Matthew Harriman was called upon to testify whether he had been ridden. He said that last Monday night he was in a strange condition and heard it rain and blow, but in the morning there had been no rain. But Matthew's tongue was sore, and he could not speak until the sun was 2 hours high. And Martha Emerson happened to come to Harriman's house in person that morning to get fire.
Mary Warren said that Matthew Harriman was the man Martha Emerson had ridden.
And Martha Emerson said she knew nothing of such an incident.
The court informed Martha that her father, Roger Toothaker, had testified about teaching her to kill a witch. She admitted she had put a woman's urine in a glass.
The magistrates asked Martha Emerson who was hindering her confession, and she told them it was her aunt, the woman she was named after, Martha Carrier, along with Mary Green of Haverhill. Their specters were before her now.
Mary Green was supposedly angry because she had spent 2 weeks encouraging Martha Emerson to afflict people, but Martha refused to do it. She said the specters of Carrier and Green took her by the throat and would not let her confess.
According to Martha Emerson, a pig used to follow Mary Green around, which was an implication that Mary Green was a witch because she had a familiar spirit in the shape of an animal.
Later, Martha denied her partial confession and said she was free from the sin of witchcraft. The court didn't care and sent Martha back to jail, where she would remain for 6 months.
On July 30th, Mary Toothaker confessed to witchcraft, but she was tried and acquitted by the Superior Court of Judicature on January 6, 1693.
In her confession, Mary said that she was afraid of being attacked. She told the court that she often dreamed about the fighting with the Native Americans. She said that her discontentedness and fear opened a door that the devil used to then recruit her as a witch. She prayed to the devil at all times because he said he would protect her from the attack.
And I just want to point out here that this is in the middle of King William's War. So Massachusetts is at war with the French and their Wabanaki allies. So that's why the fear is heightened in this situation. Mary confessed to making a mark on a piece of birch bark as a way of covenanting with the devil. She also described witch meetings and said there was talk of 305 witches in the area who were planning to help Satan bring down the kingdom of Christ and replace it with his own kingdom.
At this point, Mary is a widow. Her fears were well-founded. On August 1st, just 2 days after this confession, the residents of 2 homes near Mary's were killed in combat.
Allen Toothaker testified against his own aunt, Martha Carrier, on August 3rd, 1692, and she was hanged 16 days later.
Allen claimed that he had heard Martha Carrier say that Benjamin Abbott would wish he had not meddled with the land so near their house, or she would stick as close to him as the bark to the tree before 7 years came about, and that Dr. Prescott should never cure him.
Last March, Allen had a fight with his cousin Richard Carrier. During this fight, Allen fell flat on his back. When he yielded to Richard, who took advantage of that situation, he saw the specter of Martha rise from his chest and vanished as if she had been the one that pushed him over.
During King William's War, Allen Toothaker had been injured and now could run a knitting needle 4 inches deep into the wound. After Martha was arrested, he healed.
On January 10th, 1693, the grand jury returned the indictment of Martha Emerson as ignoramus. That meant there was not enough evidence to go to trial, and Martha was released when her jail fees were paid.
Mary Toothaker, her mother, was indicted for covenanting on February 1st, 1693, but pleaded not guilty. The jury found her not guilty, and she was released from jail upon payment of her jail fees.
There is no record of a court appearance by Margaret Toothaker.
On August 5th, 1695, Mary and Margaret Toothaker became casualties of the war she feared. Mary was killed, and her daughter Margaret was taken captive.
The Toothaker family faced tragic outcomes during and after the Salem Witch Trials, though none of them were officially executed for witchcraft. Their involvement in the panic was heavily tied to their relation to Martha Carrier, who was blamed for starting a deadly 1690s smallpox epidemic, and their own open practice of folk magic.
Ultimately, the Toothaker family's story reveals how a combination of unfortunate family ties and a public history of practicing folk magic made them prime targets during a panic looking for the devil, leading to the destruction of their family, even though their story didn't end specifically at the gallows.
And here's a little bit of trivia. Professor Emerson Baker, who wrote the wonderful book, A Storm of Witchcraft, The Salem Trials and the American Experience, wrote in that book that he is related to Roger Toothaker. And for great historical fiction about the Toothakers, read Kathleen Kent's The Heretic's Daughter and check out the episode that we did with her.
You can get either of these books at bookshop.org/shop/andwitchhunts.